Because there are a few words you can say here in Perth at the moment, and just through one or two words you can cause major outrage. I mean, if I say plastic bags, outrage, strawberries, outrage, gaff, outrage, over all of those things, and yet dead women doesn't seem to get the same outrage that those things get. And we talked about 6 women who have been killed in Australia in the last 5 days, which sadly is not a new thing. This has been going on for years. Like, so many women are killed every year. And I'm genuinely feeling day to day more distress because I feel like the government are silent on this issue. Now, that may not be the case, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on that, but this doesn't seem to get the public outcry or the government support that it actually requires. It's a much bigger issue than people are making out. And we're now getting used to it, like it's standard now. And I'd like to ask you, who can we turn to? Is there something you can do about it? And I ask you very sincerely, how do we stand up and stop this?
Well, it's wrong, and it's as you said, it's happened for a long period of time. I think what's happened with, in particular, domestic violence. The incident on the weekend, I don't think was a domestic violence incident, but domestic violence it's now out of the shadows, and there is a strong cultural push towards dealing with it as a criminal offence. So the police, rather than perhaps 10, 15 years ago, they'd say that's domestic and perhaps not investigate the matter. Now they have protocols whereby they will charge these guys who do this. We've appointed the state's first minister for the prevention of domestic violence. We're building more refuges. We're actually changing the law to allow you, if you're in a rental property, if you're the victim of domestic violence, to be able to get out of that lease. Get out of that lease. So we're actually changing that law to allow those women in that situation to get out. And we've actually, methamphetamine's part of it, of course. We've got a whole range of initiatives there. But domestic violence programs, Commonwealth funds, I've taken it up with the Prime Minister. I actually spoke to the Prime Minister about it. And so there's a whole range of programs the Commonwealth was funding to help women stay in the home, change locks, security and the like. I've asked them to continue to fund those. So a whole range of things. But as a society, as a community, we need to say no. We need to, at every level, in every family, in every community, say if you're aware of these things, you out it, and it's not acceptable.
Yeah. And so how can we make this a national push? What can you do? Like, if you're my guy, right? You're my spokesperson. You represent me. You represent the other women. You represent our whole community here. How can we make that high in your agenda to push nationally?
Well, it is on the national agenda, and the Minister for the Prevention of Domestic Violence, Simone McGurk, is on the record nationally and is taking it up nationally at various meetings that we do change this culture in Australia. I mean, I'll just tell you a brief story. When I was a kid, I had a sleepover at a friend's house. His dad beat his mum up. I'd never seen that before, and I was terrified. I was about 12, and I'd never seen it. I could not believe that this was occurring. Now, 38 years later or so, the good thing, if you like, is that it is now something the police will pursue. It is something that people will say no to, but we need to do more.
A cultural change, which
there has been.
Takes a while, but hopefully that. Yeah.
And the system's got some holes in it that even though they are set up with the best of intentions, the system is not working, clearly. That's evident.
Yeah.
But
it's not as though everyone's just sitting on their hands about it, but it is. It's a tough situation, as the Premier mentioned. There's lots of different angles and facets to it, aren't there?
Very hard to police.
Not an easy
very
one to
hard.
fix.